Alright, I'm only doing 2 chapters. I'm literally only doing 2 chapters because I literally do not want to fucking do this. I can't do 3 chapters in a row ever again because the last video I went crazy. Not like I went and painted the walls with like my own vomit or whatever. It just like it fucked me up a little bit. Like because this is insane. I can't be subjecting myself to this more than a couple short bursts at a time. Alright, we're gonna do chapter 16, guys. We are motherfucking 63% of the way fucking done with this shit! Alright, ready? Chapter 16. I arrived in South Korea during the summer, so it was incredibly hot and humid. It's strange seeing mostly only people with black hair walking around. Alright. Oh, he's gonna judge people on their black hair, like, oh, like, the color of your hair, like, it needs to not be that color because, you know, it's ignorant, like, whatever. I never really thought about how diverse America was till I left. Maybe I've been stupid to not think outside my own little culture more than I have. No, the reason you're stupid is because you don't think outside your own little fucking crazy, creepy mind more than you do. There's so much more to this planet than I imagined. Reflecting on this reminded me that I was just another inexperienced kid born into a sheltered life. Okay. Quick turnaround. Heel face turn. Once I made it through the Korean airport in Seoul, I was directed to load a bus headed towards my base. During our horrifying bus ride of weaving in and out of freeway lanes at top speed towards my new home, they played us a documentary on the relationship between North and South Korea. Tell us all about that. I'm sure it was way more interesting than the shit that you're telling us right now. As I already understood it, it spoke of... What? As I already understood it... Oh, as I already understood, you should have put a fucking comma there. As I already understood, it spoke of how the two countries were still at war, but hadn't fought in some time due to an agreement they established. An agreement they established. A treaty, perhaps? Is that what they're called? It wasn't peace, but it looked something like it. Cool. Interesting, Greg. Thank you for that. That really, really moved the story along. Once we arrived to the base, our commander, Lieutenant Colonel Haas, greeted us. LT period, COL period. Like, write it out. Right? They earned that fucking title. The giant-sized man stood at parade rest as our bus pulled up, which basically told me he took himself a little too seriously. Now you're a fucking body language expert all of a sudden. Parade rest sounds military-y. So, I don't know what parade rest is. I suppose I would too if I had to special order my BDUs, because my chest was more broad than the average professional wrestler. What's BDU mean? Big, dumb, uglies. Greg, is you. You're a BDU. You're a big, dumb, ugly. The fact he radiated formality told me we were in for a type of treatment that met or exceeded the physical demands I experienced in basic. Good. I hope they fucking run your ass into the ground and piss on you as punishment. LT period, COL period, Haas puffed out his chest proudly and said, "Welcome to war, troops. Get on your faces." We were all a little put off by his immediate demand for us performing push-ups, considering we just got off a painfully long flight, but we assumed the position regardless. Yeah, you should do that. You should listen to your Lutz call. Lutz call. The commander belted out furiously, "You may not think we're at war, but we are. Any day those Chongers could be hopping the fence. And do you know what happens when they do that? We fight or we die." What the fuck is a Chonger? Is that like a... I apologize if that's like some kind of racial epithet, but I don't know. He scanned us all with his eyes as we rested on our bellies, looking up at him as compliantly as we could. As compliantly as we could. Fuck you. Why are you just looking at me? Push, troops, push, he screamed. Good, just never stop making Greg do push-ups. Just like when he's eating breakfast in the mess hall, just make him do push-ups into scrambled eggs. Oh, I got a text message. What's this say? That's funny. As we began doing push-ups, the lieutenant colonel continued. I've been at this base 4 years, numerical 4, and I've loved every hellish day of it. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Before you begin your routine duty on this base, you will go through an orientation, & specialized training course. This course is not only physically demanding, at some point I stopped listening to him. Because I'm so fucking special, I'm Greg. I was so mentally spent after being awake as long as I had been. Like, fuck you and playing the fucking victim again. Stop whining about shit you have no control over. It doesn't do you any fucking good. There was no chance I was going to mentally survive processing another military speech. Then why the fuck did you sign up for this shit? Like, you elected to do this. You signed up for it. Now fucking deal with it, you little worm. After a while doing push-ups, I got kicked in the ribs. It was the lieutenant colonel. The LT.COL. He's doing that every single time. You do that once when you're addressing them, I guess. But every other time when you're referring to them as the lieutenant colonel, write it the fuck out. This just looks lazy. And looks like Greg has no idea what he's doing. Which he doesn't. You can stop now, he said in a somewhat surprised tone. Like, ooh, excuse me. What does that mean? I had no idea how long I had been doing push-ups. I guess the commander and airmen I arrived with were all watching me overkill the exercise, like I was an anomaly or something. Why are they singling you out? Like what the hell did you do that's so different than the other airmen? I thought you liked doing push-ups, you stupid piece of shit. Without delay, I apologized to the LTCOL for not hearing him repeatedly telling me to stop before he got physical. Oh. Oh, because he wasn't paying attention, he just kept going. God. Kind of weird how, like, much you block out. Apparently, the other airmen had stopped because their arms were already giving out. Oh, fuck you, shut up. They all went through basic, they're all there, like, they're all supposedly, did I say supposedly? Oh my god, my mouth. Supposedly, I did not mean to say supposedly, that's not a word. They're all supposedly here because they are physically able to do things. So, like, stop making yourself seem so special, but at the same time, victim playing again. I hate it. I was always good at push-ups. Fuck you. It's part of what makes me intimidating in fights. Push-ups are basically our way of simulating slow, non-impactful punching. What? What the fuck? One of the airmen said, "Dude, did you black out?" Oh, yeah, that's really fucking, like, military. Like, that's really, you know, what they're gonna say in front of an LTCOL. I smiled and quickly returned to a fully standing position, saying, "I'm just tired." The commander chuckled and replied, "Clearly not, troop." The airman laughed, but I was extremely mentally tired. Oh my god, suck it the fuck up! I had nothing here for me in South Korea. You just got there like 45 seconds ago. I just wanted to do my time there and get out of the military when my contract expired. Like, oh my god, this is so fucking stupid. Like, this is so dumb. Oh my god, we've been on the military for so long. Oh, it's so irritating. He doesn't even want to be there. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna strip off all of his fucking clothes and show the commanders his tiny little uncut wiener McGee. The training our new commander was talking about before involved 2 weeks of academic and physical torture. I don't believe this for a fucking second. I just don't. Maybe some people who are in the military, maybe they'll see it as torture, but maybe others are just like, oh shit, I'm about to be disciplined to fucking hell, I better just listen. It'll make me a better person and not a fucking asshole. Despite them doing their best to fling hardships our way, for some reason, I didn't really care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't refer to it as torture, asshole. We slept about an average of 4 hours a night and barely got to shower. The entire time, I was just in some other zone that removed me from the pressures everyone else was going through. What does that mean? Like, what in the world does that fucking mean? My near-complete detachment from reality may have been due to what I just went through with my father. Well, okay, here comes the fucking left field. Out from left field. Let's lob that ball towards home. No, just knowing I didn't have to see him anymore made physical training, sleep deprivation, and academic stress seem like a pleasant alternative. Okay, the way that he worded that, it made me think that, like, he just went through something. He said what I went through with my father. Did I say just went through with my father? I might have misread. But still, that really comes out of nowhere. And, like, you're just explaining and giving exposition needlessly right now. Like, things like this would pop the fuck up through a story. Like, maybe your LTCOL says something that reminds you of your father. Maybe something that your father said in a previous chapter that is ridiculously close to what the lieutenant commander just said. We would be able to infer that as readers. That's called show don't tell. Instead, he just tells us everything what we're supposed to be feeling. And it makes it so goddamn irritating, it's ridiculous. I should probably talk about the incident with the redman suit now. Just tell us! Stop! Just talk about it! Don't preemptively tell us all this bullshit, it's boring. Basically, during the physical portion of our course, when we weren't marching around the base with 75-pound bags on our backs, we were fighting. I hope somebody beats you up. What normally happens during fighting exercises is one of the trainers gets in a well-padded redman suit and fights trainees. Basically, we're allowed to give him our worst and are expected to act like our fighting a padded man isn't completely futile. Test your might. Senior Airman Martinez, who we don't know about at all, it was the trainer in the suit. He had each of us stand in front of him and told us if we could defeat him, we would automatically pass the whole course. This would mean we would be exempt from having to complete the worst part of training to come. Is that what that means? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I could never have inferred that from you saying automatically pass the whole course. Never would have guessed that the most rigorous part of your training would just be nixed. The final examinations and 48-hour mock missions all avoidable if we just beat down the redman. Offering us that reward was probably one of the worst mistakes Airman Martinez ever made. Dun dun dun! I was third in line to take on the Martinez. The Martinez? Stupid face. He was actually impressively talented at humiliating the other airmen with leg sweeps. Oh my god, what the fuck? Greg has talked about leg sweeps before. James did a leg sweep on the 4 jocks he was beating up. Like, I don't think Greg has any ability to fight at all. He's such a fucking coward that he just always was wormed out of things. So, I don't believe it. He also clearly understood the advantage of guiding their heads to the ground. When you control a person's head, their body is often yours to direct as well. Oh my god, that's such a double meaning fucking sentence, which I really don't think Greg meant for it to be, but it totally is. When you control somebody's head, aka you manipulate the motherfucking shit out of them. Oh my god, by the way, today in improv, we had to think of a character that we know or like want to emulate, and then just play that character over and over again. And I couldn't, like, my coach was like, think of some actor or maybe somebody in your life that you want to emulate. Or not emulate, like, emulate in the scene. And first it was my dad, because my dad is a character. And then I couldn't think of another one for the next scene, so I picked Greg. And the entire scene, I was manipulating everybody into doing things for me. And it worked perfectly. Oh my god, like, the whole scene revolved around me. And, like, I'm not one to have scenes revolve around me. I'm more of, like, an ancillary character. So I had, like, 4 boyfriends at one point in the scene, and I made them give me money and then tow my yacht from the garage out into the harbor. And I was like, I was just saying things that Greg would say. It was perfect. So thank you, Greg, for being an inspiration to play a manipulative character. I was so lucky to be able to study his fighting style before it was my turn. Martinez wasn't too rough with the airmen, however. Right. In fact, he was very graceful with his fighting tactics, despite looking like a giant red douche canoe. Like, fuck you, Greg, that's not funny. The only negative thing he would do is laugh at the troops when they were on the ground. It was humiliating for every airman. But humiliation wasn't the reason why I did what I was about to do. Oh, you are building so much suspense, Greg. What could you have possibly done to the Redman? Excuse me. Ooh. Ugh. I made a choice to take the path of least resistance. Cliche as shit. You used that exact phrase in your last book, Greg. Each trainee had a semi-hardened wand they would hit the red man's pads with. Okay. The other trainees didn't use it very efficiently, but I knew how to maximize its potential. Oh, he just knows these things. He's such a fucking trooper! As soon as Airman Martinez said, "All right, next victim," something inside me was unleashed. Why? Because he fucking called you out on what you play every fucking day with every fucking aspect of your life? I marched towards Airman Martinez and allowed him to strike me in my head repeatedly. He screamed, "Fight back, Airman!" But I wasn't ready. Oh god. I stood at attention as he continued to hit me. "What's wrong with you?" he asked, and punched me again in the side of the head. Like, I don't believe that you would still be standing at all. I allowed punch after punch to collide with me, some causing me to fall out of the position of attention. But every time I stood back up and restored my stance. Martinez screamed, "You're acting like a psycho, be normal," and smacked me in the head again. Martinez then tried to leg sweep me, but I jumped his limb like a jump rope. You're so fucking crafty, aren't you, Greg? And returned to the position of attention. Shut the fuck up! God, what is happening? My behavior was clearly disturbing Martinez, so he decided to try and make an example of me. Hilariously, I must have been punched 16 times before my nose began to bleed. Do we really fucking believe this fucking kid is strong enough to endure this kind of beating, and he just stands there at attention the whole time taking it? I don't believe it. I mumbled to myself, "All right, go ahead." Immediately I broke out my position of attention. Right. I placed the base of my baton into a locked fist and thrust it forward like a spear. Now all of a sudden you're fucking King Leonidas. Right. I hit my target and the baton slid right between the bars of his mask, so it would violently make contact with his nose. Unfortunately, the mask stopped the baton before it made full contact. In response to my attempt to seriously harm him, God, this is so poorly fucking written, Martinez screamed, "What the?" But before he could finish his sentence, I jumped up and kicked the baton deeper, driving it into his face. What? What? Are you telling me you just fucking karate kidded this guy? A loud pop sound rang out and Martinez began screaming. For some reason, I didn't stop despite the fight obviously being over. What do you mean for some reason? Because you're taking out all your fucking rage and hatred and anger on some guy because of a perceived victim mentality. Maybe I was just upset about him giving me a bloody nose. Like, if you write a character that has this much anger and fucking bile inside of him, it makes sense to, like, lead up to that instead of just him for no other reason other than he just doesn't want to like people. Like, he just hates everybody. Just because he can. Just because he doesn't understand people. That's why he hates them. He doesn't make any fucking effort to try to understand people. They have to cater to his fucking needs only. So now he's like, oh, for some reason, now I'm unleashing all this rage. Like, it comes out of nowhere, and it's sloppy, and it's stupid. I proceeded to leg sweep him as he did the other students. Like, nobody's stopping this fight. They're just watching it happen. The guy clearly fucking broke his nose. He did kind of an illegal move, I would say, like, and nobody's stopping him. Right. As his body fell, he continued to scream over the baton being bashed into his face. Oh, in my final move, I grabbed the front of his foot. I remember feeling his toes wiggle in pain. How do you know they're in pain? Through his boot as I strategically positioned his foot so I could break his ankle. Calm down, Giants. Once his foot was where I wanted it to be, I proceeded to stomping on his ankle with all my weight until I heard a snapping sound. So this is two people who you've violently broken their arms or legs. Two people for no reason. For really no reason. This is so fucking stupid. Martinez screamed unlike anyone I had ever heard. Chills of satisfaction surged through my body as the other airmen screamed at me. They should have fucking stopped you as soon as you threw a fucking baton into somebody's fucking head. I was thirsty. This is dumb. This is so dumb. I didn't understand what they were saying. I was lost in a feeling of accomplishment. God damn it, Greg! God fucking damn it! In a significant way, I wish the man practically crying on the ground wasn't Martinez. There were so many other people who deserved to suffer, and I barely knew this airman. Does that not speak to your fucking mental state? That you would break somebody's ankle violently in that manner? For what reason? For what reason is this happening? The world was full of injustice. I could feel myself slipping into darkness. Oh, you're slipping in. Oh, you're slipping into darkness. Okay, so breaking somebody's ankle violently. I've said violently so many times. Breaking somebody's ankle in a ridiculous, calculated way by jumping on it is slipping into darkness. Okay, so darkness happens when he meets Kim Jong-un, shakes his hand, and presses the nuclear button. Like, that is darkness for him. I was becoming just another broken gun. What? Innocent people were becoming collateral damage of my deteriorating personality. And this is the moment where they say, okay, we're kicking you the fuck out. You're clearly unstable. Get the fuck out. Let's load you up with fucking insane sedatives and ship you off to the nearest motherfucking mental institution. This is what happens when I'm thousands of miles from anyone who loves me. I have no purpose, and right then I felt like inflicting the pain I felt on someone else. For a brief moment, watching his suffering made me forget my own. God, that's fucked up. That's insanely fucked up. It's like he's blaming this guy because Greg's away from people he loves. You're like, what's the sign of an abuser? They say, you made me do this. You made me do this. Like, what did Ron fucking Hubbard do? L. Ron fucking Hubbard do? He stole his wife's child and took off to Cuba, said that he fucking chopped her up into a million pieces and said, I wouldn't have done it if you weren't thinking of divorcing me. I hate everything right now. I'm only doing one more chapter. I can't. I seriously can't. Chapter 17. I started another entry despite it being a continuation of the last, because there's so much to tell about what's been going on. They kicked you out of the military? Oh my god, like he just totally preemptively was, like, told us, like, guys, this is a continuation from the last chapter. Did you know that? Like, we couldn't have fucking figured that out ourselves. So the other trainers heard screaming in the large, near-empty room we were training in. They walked in casually as if nothing was wrong. Why would they do that when they hear fucking blood-curdling screams? Until they realized the person screaming on the floor was their fellow trainer. Martinez still had the baton jammed in his face while he grabbed his throbbing, pain-soaked foot. Greg, you're not writing in third person. Just say his foot. Obviously he's in pain and it's soaked with pain and throbbing. He suffered quite a bit, it seemed. Good. Most of his screaming was incoherent, but something I could understand clearly was him crying, he's psycho, he's psycho. I stood at parade rest with my own blood running down my face as the trainers pulled the red man suit off Martinez. One of the older sergeants ordered a student standing behind me to call on the base hospital and tell them to send an ambulance. Yeah. Tell them to send a fucking firing squad for this fucking delinquent. This very same sergeant then instructed the trainees to grab me and force me to sit down in the corner of the room. None of the trainees actually followed this order. They were afraid of me. Fuck you! They would not be afraid of you. If they saw somebody this psychotic in the military, I don't believe that they would just be like, oh, I don't want to touch him. No, they would fucking frag the shit out of this guy for being such an asshole and doing something so outlandish and so fucking immoral. I chimed in, it's okay, I'll sit down on my own. Fuck you. And walked over to a nearby seat. The ambulance workers lifted up a now half red man suited Martinez, and hauled him into the vehicle rather quickly. The older sergeant ordered all the trainees to make sure I didn't go anywhere and left another sergeant behind with us as well. He then went to the back office and slammed the door. After only a few moments of my fellow trainees staring at me like I was a nuclear bomb about to go off, the sergeant came back out of his office with handcuffs in his hand. Yes? Fuck yeah, Sergeant. In a stern voice he said, hands on the wall, feet spread, airmen. I'm gonna punch you in the face, too. I would love to see that. I complied with his order without delay. He proceeded to handcuffing me, and quickly after brought me to a cell within the main squadron building. In that cell, I sat without shoes or my BDU top for a few hours. Oh, poor Gregory. Poor Gregory had no shoes to wear on his little feeties. Eventually, the commander of the squadron approached my cell. I immediately stood at attention and asked, "Are you a psycho troop?" Like, the way that, like, every fucking person is asking him if he's a psycho, Greg wants the answer to be yes. Like, there's no other reason for so many people to ask him if he's a psycho. It just seems like you don't outwardly to ask somebody that. Because the psycho's not going to know consciously if they're psycho, for the most part. The question was painfully familiar. Oh my fucking lord. I replied, still at attention. I am whatever the military wants me to be, Col Haas. C-O-L period. You're speaking a word, Colonel. Don't abbreviate it. Don't abbreviate it. I am whatever I wish to be, guys. Oh, God. What he wishes to be right now in this book is a fucking stupid fucking fucker. Fucking fuck, dick, ball, cock, cunt, piece of shit, ball, grundle, cheese, asshole. Col Haas replied, the military does not want you to break the ankles of other airmen. That should be common sense, troop. I replied, yes, sir. The call continued. It's about 4 a.m. and the trainers don't want you to finish the course. In fact, your fellow trainees don't seem to want you back either. With that being said, you will now return to your room. Why? Leave him locked in there! Kick him out of the military! I'm pretty sure this is grounds for dismissal. For the remainder of this week, you will report to the base therapist's office at 1000 hours every day till they release you. Got it, troop? Therapy would never fucking help Greg. He's too far gone. I replied, understood, sir, and saluted as he walked away. As the call walked away, he yelled, Jesus Christ, troop. I guess he had never met an airman like me. Ah! So narcissistic. I don't know what that yell was. It was Fa! The thing is, he couldn't really punish me for injuring someone in a red man suit during a training exercise of that nature. Really? He couldn't? Why couldn't he do that? Why the fuck couldn't he do that? Because I'm pretty sure a commander has the ability to do that. It just doesn't look right on paperwork to reprimand a person for being too efficient of a fighter when they're in the military. Especially when it was against a man in a padded suit. How many times, number one, are you gonna fucking say that the guy was in a suit? And number two, how many fucking rules are you just gonna make up for yourself in this book? You know why? Because you didn't do research into what the military's protocol would be. Excuse me. Even if they're not gonna put this stuff online, you could talk to people that are in the military. Go to a military forum. Hi, I'm writing a book, and my character is going to be in the military during training stationed overseas. This is a fighting exercise. My character is a bit psycho. And what would happen if I stomped on somebody's ankle and broke it? No, he doesn't want to do that. It's too much effort. Plus, plus he's going to get an answer that doesn't suit his needs. His needs to be this fucking creepy. I knew this. The colonel knew this, but obviously there's a limit. Maybe I would find out where that limit was if an opportunity came up again. So now he's being even more fucking calculated. Two more chapters. Two more pages. I'm sorry, this is gonna be a short one. I just fucking can't. I can't subject myself to this more than like 30 minutes at a time. I can't do it. It's too psychotic for me. It's too psychotic and it's scrambling my fucking brain. And it's insulting my intelligence. Regardless, I just finished my last day of sitting in a therapist's office a few days ago. They brought up my father a lot, saying I was holding back information from them, and that he was the root of all my problems. Yeah, therapy would never work for Greg because he would never tell them the whole truth. He would either play a fucking character one day, just to see what kind of reaction he could get out of them. I like playing armchair psychologist because I think I know more about psychology than I actually do. But I feel like I'm observant of Greg enough, and I think I'm observant of people enough where I can kind of pinpoint things if I were to choose to think about that, I guess. But for Greg, like, what happened in The Sopranos? Dr. Melfi realized that she couldn't treat Tony because he is a sociopath, and she was only making him better at crime. You know. My father was none of their business, right? He was dead to me, and that's all I had to say to these strangers about it. They're there to help you. They didn't even know my mother had died, because you didn't tell them. So, what the fuck? Maybe if they did, they wouldn't assume I was such a generic head case. Well, you could solve that by fucking telling them that your mother passed away and you're clearly not over it. I would have been more forthcoming with personal information, but I didn't trust them. Why would I? Psychiatrists on my base are trained by the military on how to deal with crazy people, right? In other words, drones programmed by other machines to deal with humans. No thanks. What led you to that conclusion? Like, you're technically being a drone being trained by the military right now. You're seemingly going along with it in some respect. Fortunately, I heard the head doctors cleared me for returning to duty since then. I don't think they would. I think they would want to, like, place you in a fucking padded cell with bound up in a straitjacket, and they would just study you 24/7. Because you have so many fucking mental issues. It's ridiculous. I have no interest in being discharged from the military anytime soon. So as long as living with my father remains the alternative. It would be especially unreasonable if my discharge were a result anyone thinking I'm too violent to be enlisted. Is that not what we're here for? Oh my god, fucking clearly not. Because you got disciplined for your violentness. Your violence. You got disciplined for it. So, yeah, you guys are not there to do that. Stupid face. I hate you. Greg, I fucking hate him. I hate him. I hate his stupid book. This is why I hate you, Greg. The military is primarily just a weapon, plain and simple. Did they really expect every airman to go through combat training to be unable to destroy the man hiding behind the redman suit? Like, stop bringing that shit up. There's no symbolism there. There is absolutely no symbolism that leads back to the redman. Oh my god, I spit all over my arm. We're only allowed to be killers and psychopaths when they put their stamp of approval on it, right? Like, stop asking us. I don't know. Like, I feel like you're coaxing the reader into your way of thinking. Otherwise, there's something wrong with us. There's clearly something wrong with us. I'm sure I'll be subjected to plenty more faulty military logic as time passes. That is the end of 2 absolutely fucking insane chapters. How much more military bullshit are we going to deal with? Let's go through chapter 18. Alright, guys, we are 69% of the way done. Oh, motherfuck. Alright, closing eyes, can't see, all blurry. Chapter 18 is so long, I'm not doing that. Chapter 19 is also so long. Oh my god. So we'll do 18 and 19. I just saw the word booty. Oh my god. 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 Chapter 22. Oh my god. 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 Alright, there's apparently a girl named Rachel. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I shouldn't be doing this. Oh, I'm spoiler alerting it for myself. Oh, it's such a good book, you guys, man. Alright, I need to stop. I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't. It's just too much. Whatever. If you guys enjoy this shit, so it's alright. I don't know if I'll read Gerg tomorrow. Maybe I'll read Trisha again tomorrow. Haven't done Southern Belle voice in a while, so I'll do that. Alright, okay. I need to go to bed. I'm sleepy. Okay.